Hello, my friends. I'm back again, ready to talk to you guys about the Orville Season 3 New Horizons. Not talking about any specific episode right now. I'm going to do a little bit of theory crafting here with our newest character, Charly Burke. If you're not caught up on this season and you don't want spoilers about her character specifically, you might want to bow out from this one because I'm going to get into some nitty-gritty facts because I have one idea about what might be going on with Charly Burke. So sit back, enjoy, and please feel free to share your ideas about what you think's happening or why I'm wrong or anything in between in the comments below. Also, like and subscribe while you're there if that's your thing. Anyways, Charly Burke. So we met her at the beginning of this season. Her main two character traits, I guess I'll call them, are her hatred for Isaac and Kaylon's, as well as her superb, almost inhuman ability to perceive time and space in some sort of wacky four-dimensional way that I believe they said is like a once-in-a-lifetime or once-in-a-generation type of trait. They never really gave us the scientific facts behind how it works, and therein lies one of the pieces of evidence that I have for what's happening with Charly Burke. So we've established that she's this slightly more than usual, slightly more highly gifted individual than an average human. And she is supposed to be a typical human. She's not a fancy alien race. I believe she's actually from Texas. So that's one point in her favor for being something extra. A second point is she seems to be holding this obsessive grudge against Isaac and the Kaylon. Now, based on the backstory we've seen, that clearly makes a lot of sense for her character because, you know, she went through this whole ordeal during this battle with the Kaylon back during the Identity two-parter of Season 2. She was on one of the vessels that was not so lucky. They were destroyed in the battle. However, she and a female friend, who we just found out in this latest episode, were possibly more than friends. At least Charly thought that they could become more than friends. However, the Kaylon happened to kill her, so that's never going to work itself out, so far as we know. I guess there could always be a reveal later where this Amanda, I believe her name was, lives, but so far as we know right now, she died helping Charly escape in the shuttle, and that's the last we saw of her. The ship was destroyed. Boom, boom, everything's over. So one point I want to bring up right now, even though this may not actually be evidence of anything, that flashback to the Season 2 episode took place with the characters wearing not Season 2 appropriate uniforms. So two things could potentially be happening there. Three things if you want to go behind the scenes and look at the production itself. But in story, two things could be going on. Now, we've seen in Star Trek, not all ships, not all space stations, not all crews adopt newly updated uniforms at the same time. So it could be a simple case of the Orville having the older style uniforms while Charly and friends on their ship had updated to the newer Union styles that we see the Orville adopt in Season 3. That's fairly plausible as well. Secondary, and this will lead me into my theory in and of itself, is this is not an actual memory. Or if it is an actual memory, it's been corrupted and it's been altered because, dun dun dun, my theory is Charly Burke is not who she appears to be. However, she does believe she is who she is supposed to be. So I think during this attack by the Kaylon, she was the sole survivor. But was she really a survivor, or was she captured by the Kaylon and turned into an unwitting agent? So whether this means she's actually been given a Kaylon body, a Kaylon flesh suit over an artificial body, and her memories were downloaded into the Kaylon brain in order for that Kaylon to think it's Charly Burke for some moment down the line that's going to reveal itself, or if they were just able to, implant some sort of Manchurian candidate type of programming within her, kind of like what happened with Geordi in TNG where the Romulans captured him and turned him against the crew. I'm thinking it's one of those two situations. So she never successfully escaped from the Kaylon in this instance. She was captured and turned into an unwitting spy, an unwitting agent, something along those lines. I believe that what I already mentioned is some sort of proof to this fact, as well as a couple other instances throughout this season where the Kaylon appear to be getting some sort of inside information that's never really been explored. So, for a very, very clear example of this, we look to the last episode, at least the last episode from my time of filming this, where our Kaylon showed up out of the blue and destroyed a top secret scientific installation where the Orville and a whole armada of Union ships were trying to take the newly improved Aronov time travel device for safekeeping and safe study. How could these Kaylon have known? Obviously, there's probably various answers, and since it wasn't explained in the episode, I can't be sure about this, but it did seem pretty on the nose that as soon as our crew was informed that they were heading towards this location lost contact with the Armada from the Union. And it wasn't when just Ed was informed of this, it was when the entire bridge crew was informed that the contact eventually went down. And I believe this is because once Charly obtained that information, unwittingly, it was transferred to the Kaylon hive mind, or however they're taking this information, and they then became aware where the Orville was going, why the Orville was going there, and that they needed to lie in wait for the Orville to arrive, because this time travel technology could basically be the key to their entire destruction of all organics, which seems to be their goal right now. Now, why am I laying this out right now before I have the most definitive evidence? I haven't collected the entire season's worth. Well, first and foremost, the very next episode coming up this Thursday, I believe, is going to be a Kaylon-centric episode, and it's highly possible we could get the answers to this Charly Burke situation in that episode, and I want to go on record that this is where I am believing things are heading before that episode airs. It's possible that we do not get those reveals, but there is more information that lends credence to this idea, so just putting this out there right now before the episode airs, just so that I can have a record of it if it comes to pass. Another interesting tidbit that I think might be good as far as a storytelling perspective is just think about the payoff. Charly has these huge hate-filled feelings towards the Kaylon and Isaac as an extension of the Kaylon for what they did not only to her love interest, but to her crew, to the entire Union, to organic life in general. She's got this huge chip on her shoulder. That's her main defining characteristic right now, is hatred for the Kaylon over what they did. And imagine the dramatic potential, the dramatic reveal, the character growth potential for Charly if it were to be revealed that she is, in essence, everything she hates. She hates the Kaylon for what they did. She hates Isaac for what he did. Now imagine it's revealed that she is unwittingly doing the exact same thing that she has been hating all of this time. Imagine if she finds out that she did not escape the Kaylon the way she thinks she did. She was captured, experimented on. For all we know, the original Charly was killed, and these are just programmed memories basically uploaded into a Kaylon facsimile that she's then going to have to reconcile with not being the original, but believing she's the original. These are all sci-fi tropes we've seen before in things obviously like Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek The Next Generation, Isaac Asimov type stuff, going back to the beginning of the genre as a whole. But these are very interesting things to explore, especially in this Orville universe, because we haven't really dealt with that type of thing before. And I just think it would be a beautiful character moment, as well as think about these enhanced abilities she seems to have. Is it because she's a human that just happens to perceive the universe in a slightly more top-tier way? Or is it the enhanced Kaylon programming inside of her that's allowing her to have a more mechanical view of the universe? It's impossible to know right now, but I feel like these things are going to be answered for us very, very shortly on the Orville, and just think of the depth of character she'll receive if this is the case, because right now she's pretty much one note. She's pretty much a great officer with a lot of hatred for the Kaylon, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if that's going to be her defining trait going forward, that's going to grow thin, and I think that's why this twist is coming, and boy, it's going to be a doozy when we actually get that reveal. So let me know what you think about this. I'm kind of excited to see the rest of this season just to see where this theory goes. I'm thinking it will have to pay off within this season because they don't have any sort of proof that they're going to be getting another season. I certainly hope they do, but I don't think they're going to let this Charly Burke thing linger for several seasons when they're not sure that's going to get a payoff. So I think that's coming, if not in the next episode, definitely before the end of the season. Could be wrong, could be right. Either way, I'm very excited to see what comes next, especially with Charly Burke and this Kaylon story. So let me know what you think. Do you have anything to add? Do you have any points that you think detract from this? What do you think's going on with this season? Where would you like to see the show go if it is renewed for another season, or even if it's not, maybe in a future film or comic books or anything? What do you want to see from the Orville if you could have any of your wishes come true? Until next time, this is my Charly Burke theory. Do all those YouTube things, like, share, subscribe, dislike, comment, whatever. I'll see you in the next one, and peace and long life.